Well, now, what do we got here? A special live stream on somebody who the WWE could view as a controversial figure in some ways because of the way he left the company. And I know a lot of people these days tend to, start riots over CM Punk as well, and even him, come wearing his attire to a live event in WWE is a little risky these days, which is why, I took the pleasure of wearing one of my favorite CM Punk shirts, one of three CM Punk shirts I have tonight for the special live stream. What's going on, guys? As always, this is the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you. And yes, I am live once again today for the second time tonight. Before I was live a couple hours ago for my live review of NXT. Again, it was a little late due to my short little road trip took this week. And I said I was going to look at the list of the suggestions I was given, thanks to my good friends Lauren Hutton, Dakota Vyers, Ryan Kenobi, and several others as well who have left their suggestions. I looked at those to see, if I could come up with something good tonight for tonight's special live stream. I will not deny it. I looked through it. At first, when I looked through, I felt a little bit burnt out because I came home, watched NXT, got this review, and I'm like rushing myself down. Okay, I want to do something tonight because I could just wait till tomorrow. But I'm thinking, you know what? No, let's do it tonight if I can. So I'm looking through the list again. I started, lay out, some of the, the options for each of the top 10s. And then I thought of something. 2 days ago, it was July 17th, the day that CM Punk's contract expired in 2011. And also was the, 7-year anniversary of one of his best moments in his career, which did not make this list because there was other moments around the summer of Punk in 2011 that I shared on this list. I didn't want my whole list to be about the summer Punk. So because of that occasion, I thought, you know what? Let's go with the idea of the top 10 CM Punk moments. And we'll do that, as I'm not sure I'll do next week, but most of my August specials in the top 10s will be stuff about to do with SummerSlam, to do the build for the upcoming weeks for SummerSlam as well. And within the next week or so, I will also get my predicted match card for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4 and my SummerSlam predicted match card in as well. So look out for those videos to be coming out within the next week. Also, all of the odds and ends in my special streams as well. But for tonight, let's sit back and let's enjoy ourselves tonight as we talk about our top 10 favorite CM Punk moments for this special stream. And once again, this is my favorite CM Punk shirt. I have two more in my closet, which they're both good, but to me, this one is my favorite. But let's check the live chat first to see who has decided to join us live. We've got Robbie, One Kenobi. Oops, I'm breaking the fourth wall and waves. What's up, Robbie? And then Dakota is also in the live chat. He said, Hulk Hogan is supposed to help Lashley win the title at SummerSlam against Lesnar and Roman. Why? Like, that wouldn't really make sense, in my opinion. And rumor has it Dean is secretly traded to SmackDown. He is not turning heel. What? That's a little strange. We'll see what happens with that. I really think he should still come back and feud with Rollins, but okay then. Robbie says, do I want an ice cream bar with my face on it? You're damn right. Robbie One Kenobi ice cream bar is coming right up. And he heard Shane is turning heel and he's going to attack Dean. Huh. I wouldn't mind seeing a Shane McMahon Dean Ambrose feud, but kind of random. I really feel like there's something there with him and Rollins right now, but okay, if that's the case, we'll see then. Don't you agree that Montez Ford has more potential than Dawkins with charisma? Possibly, because the thing with Hogan, the N-word. Oh, still don't think it would make sense though. I still want to see it to be a one-on-one match between Lashley and Brock at SummerSlam, but oh well. Anyways, we're not here to talk about, the disgusting stuff going on right now with the whole mess in the Universal title scene, but we are here to talk about the top 10 CM Punk moments that came up in my list. Now, this moments includes, matches, feuds, promos, you name it all. So start leaving the stuff in the live chat, guys. I'll get started with my list here, and we will go from there. Number 10 is his field sobriety test in 2012. Now, here's the thing. I wanted to include on this list, of course, as Robbie knows this, but I still enjoy the WrestleMania 28 match with Punk and Chris Jericho, especially with how, Chris Jericho was being just a dick heel, attacking CM Punk left and right. Especially my favorite moment was him throwing the chair to Punk and going, "Hand me the chair, Punk! Hand hit me in the head, Punk. Your father's a drunk, Punk. Your father's a drunk. Because before the match started, John Laurinaitis added stipulation since he knows that CM Punk just wants to beat the crap out of Jericho. So with Laurinaitis and Punk, having their tension, recent memories, he wanted to take advantage of Punk's anger and say if Punk gets disqualified, then he will lose the championship. So Jericho did that, whatnot. But the thing was, is most of that match, I enjoyed again. CM Punk was excellent babyface in that feud. But to me, Chris Jericho was what made that feud as entertaining as it was. So I still wanted to include something, and I still think a great promo by Punk to really sell it off was the promo again when he took that field sobriety test in 2012. Because Chris Jericho, again, is trying to, get into Punk's head that he had been drinking, whatnot. So he wanted to prove to him that he was drunk and that he can, fail a field sobriety test to lose a championship. So Punk comes out, he's acting like he's all drunk and woozy. He actually can't even say his ABCs backwards, which, is a challenging task to begin with, but you have to really think about it, though. And Punk, not being a dumb person, could probably do it sober. So Punk's, walking on, the straight line, and he's just like, acting all goofy and whatnot. And he's acting like, he knows he's going to get punched. And he's like, no, wait, let me try one more time here. And then he actually, starts walking on the taped line in the ring like it's nothing, reciting the alphabet, going like a Z, Y, X. And whatnot, with his hands and whatnot. So I feel like, I haven't seen all the promos in that feud, but it's still again a funny feud. Well, not say funny, but a good like a Jericho type feud. Also, Punk's involvement again was good also, but I had to include that on the list because again I enjoyed the feud, and I think that was probably, in my opinion, Punk's best moment, getting the upper hand on Chris Jericho. Besides just them getting promo wars with each other much, but physically, because after he finished, going reciting the alphabet backwards, C B A with the microphone. So that's why is my number 10 on this list is the field sobriety test he took in 2012. That's number 10 on my list for my top 10 CM Punk moments. Number 9. This was after he left WWE, but with how entertaining it was, and I feel like I will go back and I've listened to it how many times, listen to it again, and maybe do like a retro review or something like that of this podcast. But my number 9 on this list is the podcast he did with Colt Cabana's Art of Wrestling. Well, kind of both of them. The first one I prefer over the second one. The second one was a little boring. The first one was a little more entertaining because of the whole more of the story. I mean, second one was just answering some emails and just adding a few more details and whatnot. But the podcast of him explaining why he left WWE. I just thought it was a very entertaining podcast. First off, someone literally in the comments section listed the whole thing and kept track of how many times Punk dropped the F-bomb. 303 times, I believe it was, Punk dropped the F-bomb. And the way he says telling all the stories were just, they were entertaining because that's CM Punk. It was like, screw it, why did this happen? Explaining, how, he wasn't happy. He was not in the main event of WrestleMania. He was, talking about how he felt he was being treated like crap when he was asked to be in a movie. But then he questioned the schedule because it was during the European tour. He was fine missing the European tour. He just wanted to make sure, since he was the champion, does Vince want him to miss that? Of course, they didn't get back to him and said they just gave the part to Randy. How many times he had to lose to part-timers, which we'll talk about those feuds. Despite the fact he lost those feuds, they were still pretty good with the build based off of his promo work. But he goes on just to talk a lot of things. He also again talks about how he didn't get along too well with Ryback, and of course, Robbie, you still kind of get the parody of this podcast of the podcast out there is in the second one where he talks about the story about how he was feuding with the Shield in a 3-on-1 match at TLC in 2013, which apparently for months he had been asking off for that date because of a wedding, but they wouldn't let him because it was the day of a pay-per-view. It was like, but it's ahead of time, why can't you just write me off or something? But he was being explained to him about how you gotta make Roman look really, really strong. No, I was just gonna fucking shit on him and beat him. Okay, but you know, Vince wants you to go over. Okay, but you gotta make it look strong. God damn it! I know how to do the job. Shut the fuck up. No, but no, he wants you to do that. You know, again, I know it was really, you know, meant to come across as funny, but again, Punk on the microphone, he's just an entertaining guy to listen to. And literally, again, that podcast is something that I always listen to when I have nothing else to do, is that podcast. And I think, you know, it's just, you know, a moment for him, you know, coming out clear, the fans, everything. But I still think, you know, it's something he's going to be known for. It's definitely the podcast, despite telling his own story, how entertaining he was. So that's why that was my number 9 on this list, is CM Punk on the Colt Cabana's Art of Wrestling podcast, explaining, you know, why he left WWE. Check the live chat really quick here. Let's see here. Your arms are too short to box with God. Yep, he is gonna crown Lashley when he wins. Interesting. CM Punk is coming back, by the way. He is working with WWE Studios to remake a horror movie. For real? I mean, again, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I'll see it when I believe it. It's nothing against you, man, but again, I'll see it. And Styles penciled in the face and beat Joe at SummerSlam, I heard. I figured a perfect way to turn Roman heel, have him face The Rock at WrestleMania, and The Rock beats him and extends his hand to shake Roman's, and Roman sucker punches him and turns on his own bloodline. Exactly, that's what they need to do. They should have done in 2015, but nope, not going to happen. Jericho is an amazing heel. He is. Do you think Styles should turn heel through his title reign for fresh feuds, or no? If it comes down to it, sure, why not? But I think he's fine right now as a babyface. There's still a lot of couple of heels he can feud with on SmackDown. Yeah, CM Punk does love the F-bomb. Do you hear about Rollins telling Cormier to kick Lesnar's ass? No, I did not, but good for him. And too bad Ono wasn't in Roman's spot like Punk suggested. Then the whole world would be fine. Roman would be down in NXT jobbing. I mean, again, I don't think, you know, Roman would have been a complete jobber, in my opinion. But I feel like, you know, he would not have had, like, you know, the big spotlight he did if he wasn't, you know, involved with the Shield. But yeah, I know that Cassius Ono was originally supposed to was one of the 3 people that Punk pitched for the Shield. It was him, Rollins, and Ambrose. But I mean, let's flop better forward. He wanted to be Big Show, Daniel Bryan, and Seth Rollins. Man, a stable like that. It's like, come on. It's again, how many more times is Big Show gonna be part of a stable? Daniel Bryan deserves better than being part of a stable. He deserves to be a single star. As Punk said in his podcast, you know, him and Bryan should be treated like Brett and Shawn, keep them as far apart from each other, but come together when need be. Of course, Seth Rollins, he was 4, but again, he wanted to be 3 fresh faces that, you know, could, you know, get the momentum started on the main roster, and then when they're ready to go on their own, one, he can work with them, which he was pitching the idea of, you know, since he's going to drop the title to Rock, he'll work Taker, and then after Undertaker, he will have those 3 guys to work with. Of course, you know, they changed all that up, and, you know, of course, you know, thank goodness we didn't have, you know, the Shield continuing on and those rotten turtlenecks and, you know, having those plastic shields that just said Shield on it. Rollins telling a story about that on a Talk Is Jericho podcast was hilarious. But yeah, continuing on here with this list. So number 10 was the field sobriety test segment in 2012. And number 9 was his podcast explaining why he left WWE. Number 8 is an underrated promo, I feel, that he once cut that, you know, was like, you know, part of a faction that was definitely underutilized. And that was the promo in 2010 he cut during the Royal Rumble match. Well, for 2 years in a row, 2010, 2011, when 2011 Punk was the leader of the New Nexus, he was, you know, he was the guy who was like, you know, in several Royal Rumbles, we've had guys who have been like, you know, one, like the only one in there, or, you know, part of a faction in there, being in the ring, you know, they'll knock people out left and right for a little bit and just chill and waiting for someone to come out. In 2010 and 2011, he was that case. In 2010, though, he was still by himself with Serena Deeb in outside, since she was part of his straight edge society. And he cut some promo again about, you know, offering, you know, up a sermon to, you know, to save save everyone and have them become straight edge and whatnot. I can't remember exactly what he said. I know when Great Khali came out, he tried to save Khali, but Khali just chopped him in the head, which eventually led to Beth Phoenix coming out and the two of them. But I think the two of them were dating at the time, Punk and Phoenix. I can't remember for sure. I think they did briefly date. And also she eliminated Great Khali by kissing him. He was a Punjabi playboy. But anyways, I just remember the promo thinking, it was definitely, one, an underutilized faction, the straight edge society, and two, it was, again, Punk had just, 2009, kind of like, gone to the next level somewhat from his second world championship run in his feud with Jeff Hardy. Of course, his feud with The Undertaker, especially the Hell in a Cell match, they had a Hell in a Cell, kind of pushed him back a little bit, but I feel like, this was, a promo to just share how, hey, this guy has a lot more to offer than what you've given him so far. Like, this guy could be, the hottest thing going in the company, which they didn't get to that level until the following year. But I feel like, it was definitely, and underutilized and, like, overlooked, an underrated promo that he cut was off the sermon he cut in the 2010 Royal Rumbles. That's why it's on my list at number 8, is his sermon he said in the 2010 Royal Rumble about being straight edge. Number 7 was his heel turn on The Rock at Raw 1000. Now, I know Punk even mentioned in his podcast also he was not completely for this idea of turning heel. Well, again, the thing was Vince had planned for him to feud with Rock. Of course, he was going to drop the title to Rock. Of course, it was to set up Rock and Cena Part 2, even though Punk was not for that, offering, why don't you have either I'll feud with Taker still as champion, or if you really want Rock and Cena, why don't we do a 3-way at WrestleMania 20? Which it would have made sense because John Cena. If you wanted to tell this whole John Cena Cinderella story again, which I'm not going to go into it again, explain how it just did not work because John Cena didn't really need that. But why not instead of having him just fighting The Rock to correct the biggest wrong he claimed in his life, which I'm sure is not the worst. Why not have Punk in the match also, because Punk has been a thorn in Cena's side at the time for the past 2 years. I mean, Punk and Cena had always put on great matches together, but he hadn't really overcame Punk until they had that really good match on Raw in 2013 with Cena's #1 contendership on the line. You could have had that way, and Punk, like Punk said, you could have done like a 3-way and had someone just pin him in 5 minutes, pretty much. I mean, have it be elimination style or whatnot. He wouldn't have cared because he would have done maybe at WrestleMania. It would have been Cena overcome both his obstacles. CM Punk and The Rock wasn't an obstacle. He just didn't beat The Rock the year before. But it would have been a good idea for at least get Punk in the main event WrestleMania. But going back, this heel turn I feel kind of could have been a little considered unexpected in some ways. Again, CM Punk was a babyface, the hottest thing going. But looking back on it, I do kind of feel that maybe turning heel was a good idea for him to give him some fresh juice, like Dakota just mentioned about AJ Styles maybe turning heel eventually if his title reign is going to go on for as long as it's rumored to do so. He may have to go heel until SmackDown does have a couple heels like Samoa Joe or Randy Orton, maybe 1 or 2 others that could keep him busy at least for a couple of months if they really are going to keep the title on him to surpass Punk's record. Which I'm completely fine with because I love AJ Styles. I think he's been a good champion. But that heel turn, I think, was well placed out. Again, I said Punk didn't really want to do that because he was being John Cena in merchandise sales, and he thought, if I turn heel, 5-year-old Johnny and Timmy aren't going to want to buy my T-shirt anymore, pretty much. But I think the moment was still something to make Raw 1000 memorable, because again, Raw 25 was just like these people showed up. Okay, hello. And then the rest of the night was just a regular episode of Raw. No, Raw 1000, some people say it could have been a little bit better than it was, but it still felt it was somewhat special, especially having that championship match in the main event, even though it got interrupted by the Big Show. But of course, Punk made his moment, turning heel by attacking The Rock because he claims that, he was tired of other people, stepping in his spotlight. And he felt that, the show should be ending with him, the WWE champion, standing on top. So I feel like it was just a moment in history as well. So that's why it's my number 7 on this list is his heel turn on The Rock at Raw 1000 in 2012. There are too many heels. Why don't they turn Dillinger heel? He needs it. Wouldn't be a bad idea, but again, there's too many of them. Big Show has had more face heel turns than I can count. 23, I believe, to be exact. What about a Lashley Strowman feud? That wouldn't be too bad idea. Are you talking about the straight edge and when he was straight edge? Yes, I am. And that girl is super cute that Punk was with. And no, he wasn't dating Beth at the time. Beth was either engaged or married to Edge at the time. Oh, I thought I heard a rumor one time that him and Beth Phoenix briefly dated. I'm not sure if that's true or not. When someone else came out, he said it's clobbering time. The Rock is now the richest actor of all time. Awesome. Styles is a much better babyface than heel. He seems way more comfortable. Yeah, true. Again, like when Styles turned heel, I mentioned how many times, I feel like it was just more so just to, light the fire in him, help with his promo skills, which worked. And now he's, a good babyface. Yeah, he's had a couple, cringeworthy promos, such as stuff with Cammy, which we're not going to talk about that right now. Again, did you see when Styles first started in TNA? Christian was TNA champ, and he told Styles to go win the match like his idol. And Styles said, "My idol, Barry Sanders, never won a championship." Never saw that, but awesome. But yep, that's my list so far. Let's move on now to number 6. We will get to halfway point. Number 6 on my list for my top 10 CM Punk moments is his feud with The Undertaker. Now, I say the feud because, yes, he lost a match. Technically, he lost a feud. But once again, and I will probably say this again in another video one day when I do, because I have a suggestion on here for top 10 people on the microphone. CM Punk, literally took that realism approach as he did with another feud, which we'll talk about number 5. But this feud with The Undertaker, CM Punk, they took the story. I believe they did have like a triple threat or something like that, like some type of match where the winner would face The Undertaker at WrestleMania because The Undertaker needed an opponent to be challenged for his streak. Even though some people do say, and I do kind of agree with them, some people think that Taker should have retired after WrestleMania 28 because of the whole end of an era stipulation and whatnot, and he was 20-0. And I think about it, wouldn't be too bad because really after WrestleMania 28, the only good match that Undertaker had at WrestleMania was the match of Punk at WrestleMania 29, which was by far the match of the night at WrestleMania 29. But around that time also was when Paul Bearer died. And they took that real life story of Paul Bearer's death, and CM Punk literally just attacked the legacy of Paul Bearer in this feud. He dropping the urn on the ground. Actually, you do hear him, I think, go off script in one of the segments backstage where he did it. When he did drop, he goes, "Oh shit," and whatnot, and everybody, it wasn't supposed to happen. But I also like the line where he's like, just attacking him. Well, first off, he's pretending the urn is Paul Bearer's urn is talking. "Oh, Undertaker," and then he listens to the urn and says, "Oh yeah, and by the way, Undertaker, Paul wanted me to tell you that even if you get counted out or disqualified, still a loss and whatnot." But I just thought, again, taking the legacy of Paul Bearer and bringing that into the feud as well was what, was good to get heat on him, of course, but it was to, help, bring out the best in this feud as well, leading to a match between him and Taker. Again, it was by far awesome. Of course, as Punk said, he wrestled that match like he had a freaking death wish, of course, because he wanted to get some time off afterwards because of his nagging injuries and whatnot. And of course, also he was mad that he didn't get paid. He felt he didn't get paid, the way he should have been, as he didn't make as much as Cena, Rock, Brock, or Triple H, or a few others also he mentioned also. But I think it was some great promo work as well, and the match was awesome. Despite not winning it, it was still an awesome match. So that is why it is my number 6 on this list, his feud with The Undertaker. Let's see here. Styles turns chicken shit into chicken salad with the WWE booking ways. I'm ready for Monday because I think Lashley will win or no contest. Lashley wins, imagine the pop he will get. Now if Roman wins, imagine the bruise here. Oh yeah, definitely. And when he dropped the urn, he said, "No disrespect intended." It was bad. Yeah, I know. But again, it was still, I felt, bringing that realism approach, and it was made that feud even more interesting, I thought. Again, which is why it's number 6 on the list. So we're halfway through. Let's go through let's go through again 10 to 6. Number 10 was the field sobriety test segment in 2012. Number 9 was the podcast explaining why he left. Number 8 was his sermon in the 2010 Royal Rumble. Number 7 was when he turned heel attacking The Rock at Raw 1000. Number 6 is his feud with The Undertaker. So let's move on now in the top 5 now. Number 5 is the feud he had with Jeff Hardy in 2009. Now, remember, CM Punk is a 2-time Money in the Bank ladder match winner. The first year he won it, not bad, but the story was him being, an underdog world heavyweight champion that's going up against some of the best to prove that he, belonged in that spot, which was all right. But I feel like, he obviously, it was not one of his strongest runs as champion, I felt. The second run he had when he cashed in on Jeff Hardy after Hardy's, long feud with Edge had ended in a ladder match at Extreme Rules, and Punk cashed in on him to win the championship. Now, first was a whole, face-on-face thing, and there was, inner peace between them. But as the field progressed, Punk started turning more heel. And that's when he started, again, going back to that realism approach, attacking Jeff Hardy about his real-life drug problems. Because eventually, this was around a time where, Jeff Hardy was on his way out the door for WWE for the time being. He wasn't in the right. He wasn't in the right spot, he was in the right mind at this point. If you remember watching from the Hardy Boys Woken 24 special, which again is a very effective and emotional documentary, but I definitely recommend going back and watching it. But again, going back to the realism approach of the Undertaker, he attacked the legacy of Paul Bearer. This one, he attacked the real life drug problems of Jeff Hardy, and people still got behind Jeff. And yes, it does seem a little bit weird because some people who are straight edge and don't do drugs, smoke, or drink alcohol excessively, like Punk is supposed to be a guy to come across as. If you feel you feel with someone like that who doesn't, but then when someone's so attacking a fan favorite, despite the fact Jeff Hardy's not perfect, but he's still he's someone who people look up to and whatnot. That still gets a lot of heat behind him. And I think the promos he cut on Hardy were excellent. The reason why I put this over the Undertaker feud though was because of the fact that CM Punk won that feud, because he lost the title to Jeff Hardy. I think it was at either Night of Champions or I can't remember whether feud was or Judgment Day, maybe. No, Night of Champions, I believe it was. Is where he dropped the title to Hardy, and then they had the rematch in a TLC match at SummerSlam. And then after where Punk won the title back, but after that they had one more match on SmackDown. It was like if Hardy lost, he had to leave WWE, which he lost. And he left WWE and didn't come back till 2017, WrestleMania 33. But still, it was definitely a great feud. I enjoyed it. Well, the stuff I've seen from it, I think is very enjoyable. Definitely, one of the best we've seen from Punk and Hardy as well. So that's why it is my number 5 on his list. Is his feud with Jeff Hardy. Number 4 on the list, I have his Go Home show promo for Night of Champions 2011 with Triple H. Now, again, the first thing the plan was that Punk was supposed to face Kevin Nash. But I think there was some issues with Kevin Nash and Punk backstage. So I can't remember exactly what the story was. I read it somewhere. But the match got canceled. And because of that, they said, which again was kind of their way of trying to stop the momentum of Punk, they put Punk up against Triple H, which, Punk was, getting behind this whole conspiracy thing, thinking that, Triple H is trying to, run the show like it's his own playground. Triple H was still trying to come across as a guy who, is trying to do what's fair for the audience and whatnot. And, Punk and Stephanie Ellen were on a war of words until, of course, after this Night of Champions match, where Punk realized that, Triple H is not behind this whole conspiracy, and that he claims it's John Laurinaitis who's really trying to, cheat his way into getting to, the upper levels of corporate positioning in the WWE. But I still love that promo he had on the Go Home show before. Well, of course, there was a contract signed also on SmackDown week before where Punk was like, I don't want to fight you. I don't even like the new you. New you sucks. Or also cracks me up how Triple H tells Punk he's going to kick his skinny, fat ass. Like, how's your ass both skinny and fat? Doesn't make any sense. But anyways, this go home promo. It was probably about like a 15-minute promo between Punk and Triple H. Just, and of course, when you know for the fact that in real life the two of them didn't really like each other, it added the fuel to this. Punk goes on to mention, just mention his thoughts and going all out of it and everything going on there, and how he told him how he respects Triple H, especially for firing Kevin Nash the week before, because Kevin Nash is his good friend. Triple H mentioned the week before that he didn't like CM Punk, but the fact is Punk had never lied to him, and that Nash had been lying to him since he returned at SummerSlam that year. But then, of course, Punk goes on to say stuff about how, the whole bodybuilding thing, how, Punk doesn't fit that image. That's where Triple H cuts him off, and Triple H starts mentioning all these guys that, it wasn't about, the big time body thing, like, Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio, and a few others as well. But of course, the two of them, Triple H was always showing that, he didn't fully believe that Punk was the best as he claims he was. And then, of course, things got even more personal. And Triple H is like, how this is not going to be business on Sundays. He made this all personal, attacking him and his wife. So instead of going one-on-one with the businessman, not the cerebral assassin, not the top guy, just himself as a man, pretty much. And then it got even more personal. And I still like the line where Punk gets to Triple H's face and says, and this isn't CM Punk talking to Triple H. This is Phil Brooks talking to Paul Levesque. And again, when in real life how the two of them do have tension between each other, you're just like, oh shit, it's really about to go down big time. And of course, that's where the microphone starts getting cut off and whatnot, like it did with another segment, which we'll be talking about very shortly here. Wink, wink. It was still, just a great promo of words. Of course, again, the idea behind it was, again, Triple H beat Punk on Sunday. They would then, Punk would get his rematch at Hell in a Cell for the WWE Championship in a triple threat. Just where, Miz and Truth, were fired, came out of nowhere and attacked them, all three of them inside Hell in a Cell, which eventually set up for a tag team match. I think it was Vengeance between Punk and Triple H teaming up against Miz and R-Truth. But again, it was mainly just for, Triple H to take all of Punk's momentum and lead to a match with Triple H and Kevin Nash at TLC in a sledgehammer ladder match. But it did not work because Punk still got over as hell during that time. But that's my number 4 on my top 10 Punk moments, is his promo with Triple H on the Go Home show before Night of Champions 2011. Number 3 on this list is the contract signing before Money in the Bank in 2011. Holy heck, was this long, but it was fun and it was real. So Vince McMahon was desperately just trying to, sign Punk to a new contract. He knew that Punk, was not happy, but he was terrified to death of Punk walking out on the WWE with the championship. And of course, despite the fact that CM Punk's come across as the heel one, it was going to be the match between him and Cena was in his hometown at Money in the Bank 2011 in Chicago. And for real, in real life, Punk was not sure if he wanted to resign or not. So I take that to a storyline. But of course, Vince came out there with a contract that he made out himself, that he thinks is very lucrative, very reasonable with him. Punk comes out with a contract of his own of other things he wants, such as cups, forks, knives, spoons, his own jet. He wanted to have them produce CM Punk the movie. Of course, also the big thing was he wanted him to bring back the WWE ice cream bars. And actually, to backtrack to number 4 for a second, another famous line from that promo with Triple H in the Go Home show is when Triple H says he listens to his audience what he wants. And Punk goes, so you're listening to your audience tonight, right? That's what you claim you're doing? Then where, oh, where are my WWE ice cream bars? Everybody's going nuts for ice cream bars. But he's pretty much, saying, also he wanted Vince to show him some respect and apologize. And Vince was refusing at first. He's like, I'm sorry. But Punk's like, what? I'm sorry. After like 3 or 4 times to see Vince was getting aggravated, and then finally he looks him dead and he grabs the microphone and goes, I apologize, you son of a bitch. And then John Cena comes out and mentions how two of them were just bickering like crazy, and how Cena wanted this match against Punk because he just realized the talent that Punk is. But he's like, you've lost sight of who you are. he's like just like mentioning everything, what Punk is, but what you're doing, he's doing to himself, how he's lost sight of himself. I've lost sight. You are the one that has lost sight, and I am the underdog, and you are what you hate. And of course, he's like attacking like Cena, like saying stuff like you're what you hate. You're a dynasty. Like you say something on the line, Cena's like easy. I'm not going to tell you again. And he says several other things. And then, of course, he finally gets a punch in the face from Cena after he tells him that you become what you hate. You're no longer the underdog like your Red Sox. You are the New York Yankees. And he got socked in the face by Cena. Punk just rolled up and grabbed his contract. And he said, you know what? I'm glad you punched me in the face, John, because you know what? I'm tired of all this. I'm tired of you. I just had enough. So this Sunday, say goodbye to the WWE title. Say goodbye to John Cena, because the stipulation was if CM Punk won the match and he walked out of the championship, John Cena was going to be fired. So he said, say goodbye to John Cena. And as he rips up the contract, he says, and say goodbye to CM Punk. Summer of Punk in 2011. Again, Punk was just on had one of the hottest runs you could probably ask for out of any wrestler, pretty much. And of course, that signing, it was a good 20 to 25 minutes, but it's so worth entertaining. If you have not seen it, go back and watch it. Of course, there is something else, though, worth watching from about a month earlier, of course, but I will talk about that very shortly as well. But first, we have our number 2 to get to. Before we get to that, I will check the live chat again, see what Dakota has to say. Doesn't Lashley have the argument against Roman? If Roman wins, since he beats him once, they need a rubber match. Lesnar will be on Raw July 30th. I heard that, but Lashley should still get that match without this match to begin with. He beat Roman. Why does he have to face him again? Everyone says that the New Day splits, they should turn Xavier heel because he is the best promo. Then have Kofi as Big E's manager. Maybe. I heard that you were right. It'll be a triple threat match at SummerSlam for the U.S. title, and Hardy's injuries are storyline, and he is supposed to win the U.S. title back at SummerSlam. Interesting. Did you know the greatest match Extreme Rules pay-per-view is Jeff Hardy beating Edge in the ladder match, and Punk cashed in on Jeff? That's considered the best one. It's so cool. I've seen parts of that match. It was still a good match. Wasn't Triple H a babyface at that time? And Triple H wants Punk back. He said he doesn't care about what Vince nor Stephanie thinks about him when he takes over. He wants Punk back because it is best. That's what he said. Because it was a face-on-face feud. Because his number 1 is the pipe bomb. He's guessing that segment in 2011 was like 27 minutes, but it was well worth it. Cena was the heel in a match because it was in Chicago. No doubt about it. You hear the reaction Punk got that night. When he says you're the New York Yankees, and he said you became a bodybuilder and you became a sports entertainer because you couldn't hack it. That's why it will be a triple threat, because Brock will say, "Give me both of them." Come on. I don't want Brock to say that. Just have him face Lashley. We've seen Roman and Brock how many times. Worked. It was fine. I was fine with it the first time, but I gave it a chance for WrestleMania 34. It sucked. I didn't want to see it again. And now it happening just makes no sense absolutely whatsoever. But yeah, let's get to the top 2 on this list. Number 2. Now, despite the fact earlier I put it on a feud here where he lost, and I put it in the logos he lost, but this one I could not help but put at my number 2, because just watching it again a few weeks ago really made me want to see another match between these two. As, of course, his match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2013. Holy hell, again, watching this match again, again, I didn't know what match is better. That match or the match between Cena and Bryan. I mean, Cena and Bryan was good. I think it's more so known for what happened after the match, but still a great match. I still got to say the best wrestling match overall on that show was Punk and Lesnar. Because to me, they really made you believe, and we don't see that too often anymore these days, where they make you believe that whoever's in the ring could have beaten Brock Lesnar. I mean, maybe AJ Styles back at Survivor Series last year. That's the last time I can say, hey, like the match actually had me thinking that there was a chance this person could have beat him without it seeming so predictable. But CM Punk and Brock Lesnar put up a fight. It was no disqualifications. Again, didn't have excessive amounts of weapons used in there, but there was beatings, on what was available around the ring and whatnot, and the stage and everything. It was just great chemistry between the two of them. Like Punk, literally, there was how many times where Punk had near falls on Lesnar. It looked like that CM Punk could have beaten Brock Lesnar. And it looked like the reason why he didn't was because of the interference by Paul Heyman, which, of course, all the distraction caused, Punk to lose the match to an F5 from Lesnar. Man, though, it was just an unreal match again. Besides, of course, when Goldberg squashed Brock, the closest I feel I have seen someone beat Brock Lesnar in my time of watching wrestling, I felt. It was a really good match. And again, it wanted me to see a rematch because to me, that match showed that Punk could have beaten Brock. And they could have had another match, a rematch from that. It was the writing on the wall was right there. That's why I have pitched this idea a couple times on Twitter that what should have happened was they could have had Punk, because there was 2 pay-per-views afterwards. There was Night of Champions and Battleground. Night of Champions, he fought Curtis Axel, I believe, and he beat Axel there. Battleground, he fought Ryback, which, of course, again, how do you go from Brock Lesnar to Curtis Axel, especially Ryback, who he just returned from a brief injury, and he was fly as a heel and just losing how many pay-per-views in a row, of course. But what they should have done, instead of having Punk face off against Ryback and Heyman inside Hell in a Cell, they should have had, I know Punk wanted to get his hands on Heyman, but with him beating both of Paul Heyman's other guys and Curtis Axel and Ryback at those 2 bland pay-per-views, they should have just had him fight Lesnar inside Hell in a Cell again to prove once and for all he could beat Brock. And if he could beat Brock, then he was going to get his hands on Paul Heyman. Pretty much that route. I can guarantee you, again, that match would have been so much better inside Hell in a Cell than Punk and Ryback was. Because that match was not that great between Punk and Ryback. I mean, yes, the beatdown on Heyman was pretty nice on top of the cell. But him and Brock could have had an unreal match if they would have given them a match at Hell in a Cell. So that way Punk could have beaten Brock once and for all without any outside interference from Paul Heyman. To me, it's still one of my favorite matches of all time. Whenever I do the top 10 of my top 10 matches of all time, I'm pretty sure you will definitely see this match on the list. Let's check the live chat really quick while I'm at it before I continue on. Let's see here. Let me see here where we at. Lashley's a better wrestler, definitely. Hey, what's up, Lauren? I think Punk's top moment will be him winning the title at Money in the Bank in 2011. How are you guys? Been pretty good, Lauren. How was your vacation? Again, it was nice. I got to see the Flight 93 Memorial out in Somerset. I got to also go to Q Creek where some of those 9 miners in 2002 fell down. They were all rescued, thank goodness. Relaxed at the pool of our hotel. Went and had a nice meal at Olive Garden. Played some cards. Did some more sightseeing last night and today. Photos are on my Instagram also, as well, my Facebook. But yeah, I mean, it was very fun and worth it. Again, there's still more to come over next week or so with my sister being in town, but it was a lot of fun. Thank you for asking. Do you think we will get John Morrison back sometime in the future? Nope. Brock's only good match in the last 4 years is the Styles match. That was good. I mean, he was in that Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam. It was good, but of course, Braun mostly carried that match. I'm trying to think, was there any other really good match that Brock has really had? The triple threat match at Royal Rumble 2015 was awesome that he had there. His match with Triple H again were okay, but I feel like something was missing between them. That the Punk and the match with Styles was probably the best, and his Extreme Rules match with Cena also was really good too. Morrison is in TNA. I don't think he's returning to WWE anytime soon. Not there, but he's going to be on the next season of Survivor. But it would be nice if John Morrison came back. Guess what? We may get our wish. Lashley's now rumored to win the Universal Championship, which I'd be okay with that. He is on Survivor right now, Morrison is. Did you hear Punk and AJ will be starting together a new horror film soon? That's what the coach is telling me. Punk feels around Jeff Hardy should also be in the top 3. That was actually my number 5, the feud between. I will go back, of course, and reveal the ones as well. What is more likely, CM Punk return or Morrison returning? I think Morrison is so underrated in the ring and on the promo to be on it. Both. Definitely, I agree, but I think Morrison's more likely to return. It was messed up with WWE to fire Punk on his wedding day, though. Oh, they've done that to several other people also. Fired them on like their birthdays or whatnot. That was ridiculous of them to do that. And Punk never won a Royal Rumble. He should have. Ryback cannot wrestle. He botches everything. He still had that catchy catchphrase, "Feed me more." I mean, that's why I was behind Ryback because "Feed me more" catchphrase. But I do agree, definitely was not one of the best. We've said this many times. Punk will never return because he can't stand the McMahons. True, but WWE Studios is one making the movie. Interesting. We got Robbie here saying, Mike, remember the night after SummerSlam when that fan booed Punk and Punk dares him to step to the ring and be a man or sit down, be a bitch and shut your mouth? Yes, I remember that. Or also said, I never liked Ryback either. He botches too much. I always thought Punk was a better heel. What about you guys? I mean, Punk was a good heel, definitely. He was a good babyface as well, but he definitely had his great runs as a heel as well. I mean, he even admitted himself in that podcast he would rather be a heel than a babyface anyways, but he was also on saying that there's why he liked being a babyface because he was obviously making, being John Cena, of course, in merchandise sales, and of course, him being a heel. I was going to probably cut those in half and whatnot. But yeah, I could say he was a good heel. Would you like to see Punk versus Styles? That'd be an awesome match. Or I think Styles would defeat Punk and Morrison left on good terms. I'm not sure. Lauren says, did you like Cult of Personality or this Fire Burns better? She thinks Cult of Personality fit him more, which I could definitely agree with that. I mean, maybe for Punk's case, Cult of Personality, but personally, as which one I would listen to more often, I still like this Fire Burns better, like on my terms, but I do agree that Cult of Personality fit Punk better, though, as a character-wise. Did you hear the fan say to Orton, your mom won't be proud of you when he was attacking Jeff? No, I did not hear that, but wow, that's actually funny. Cult of Personality was better. Yeah, again, for Punk's entrance music for his character, yes, I could definitely agree that Cult of Personality was a better song. But as far as which song I like better, listening to it, I still say this Fire Burns. I really like that song. If I could do remote, even through the darkest days. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to go on an opera solo there too long. Did you know Punk dated several? Wait, hold on. Mike, do you think what will happen to Punk Chicago? Blackhawks come to Pittsburgh and beat Daniel Guys' precious Penguins? Man, because Dan likes both of them. Yeah, I don't know which one he would root for. Do you know Punk dated several superstars, including, I know he dated Kelly and Maria. I didn't know that. I swore he dated Beth Phoenix. I knew about Lita and AJ Lee, but I didn't know about Kelly and Maria. I see how Robbie is. His name stands for Chick Magnet. Yeah, I know. Chick Magnet Punk. Oh boy, how can you come up with a name like that? But it still worked for him because he made that name famous. But yeah, I will, before I get to my number one, of course, number one is pretty obvious what it is, but I'll go through my list again since we have Lauren joining and Robbie is still around also. But let's go over the 2 to 10 again. Number 10 was when Punk had the segment with the field sobriety test in 2012, as I said before. I enjoyed the feud he had with Chris Jericho. Hit me in the head, Punk! Hit me in the head! Your father's a drunk, Punk! Your father's a drunk! But I still feel, what made that feud so great was more so Jericho than Punk because of, Jericho's, dick heel tactics. But I think the best part for Punk, I felt, my opinion, was the segment when he took the field sobriety test in 2012. Number 9 was his podcast explaining why he left in 2014, because again, he was entertaining. He dropped the F-bomb 303 times in that podcast, according to somebody in the comments and whatnot. It was entertaining. Number 8, an underrated promo I felt was his sermon for the Straight Edge Society he proclaimed in the 2010 Royal Rumble. Number 7 was his heel turn on The Rock at Raw 1000. Number 6 was his feud with The Undertaker in 2013 because, as you guys remember, as he reminded us, because because Paul Bearer wanted him to tell Taker that if he got counted out or disqualified, still a loss. Number 5 was his feud with Jeff Hardy in 2009. Number 4 was his Go Home Show promo with Triple H. Then where, oh where, are my WWE ice cream bars? Number 3 was the contract signing before Money in the Bank in 2011. Number 2 was his match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2013. And number 1, now again, an honorable mention is, as Lauren said, would definitely be when he won the title off of Cena at Money in the Bank. That definitely should be on this list. But again, I didn't want to leave too many on this list from the Summer of Punk. I didn't want that to be my whole list, was everything. I first was going to put just, the Summer of Punk as my number 1. But number 1, of course, the thing that made CM Punk the hottest act he had to be, is, of course, the pipe bomb. Him just, laying out Cena, then sitting out on the stage. Like, I literally heard the other day, like, Vince, told him, well, since he's uncertain about his true status for sure, whether or not he's going to be staying or not, then why don't we make this into a real story? You go out there and just, cut all your grievances against the company. And he went out there and just trashed on. Well, he told John Cena he doesn't hate him, but he doesn't like this idea that he is the best, and just cutting crap how he just spoke the truth about how WWE is full of nothing but a parade of shameless ass kissers. He just mentioned all this other crap about how, well, I don't know if I should say crap, about all this other gold about how he think that the company will be better once Vince McMahon is dead, and how once he's dead he's gonna give it to his son-in-law Triple H and his screwy daughter Stephanie and whatnot. Just literally just laying into the company, making it like it got so much eyes on the product, but especially him as well in general as a person. And of course, that's of course around time where in the PG era, things weren't going quite as smoothly with the WWE. And when somebody like Punk comes out and tells the truth like that, you're gonna get a lot of people getting behind you. That's what happened when Shane McMahon came back in 2016. That's what happened in the promos between Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns. Lashley telling the truth about how honestly a lot of people feel about Roman Reigns, how they don't want him in the main event spot anymore, how it's his turn to step aside, and Bobby's going to show him like what's done and whatnot. And several other times where I just felt like, that realism approach. And, it got Punk going. Again, Punk became a babyface, even though he was still supposed to be the heel in the feud with John Cena leading up to his Money in the Bank in 2011. He made himself a babyface. Again, you hear the Chicago crowd reaction for him at Money in the Bank. You would not, again, if I would have not seen any of the segments between leading up to that match at all, I would have thought that CM Punk was a babyface. I really would have. But it's what made CM Punk probably, the hottest act in the company. It's what made him, me want to buy like a hot looking t-shirt like this. Well, I got it for Christmas then again, but it's one of 3 Punk shirts I have, but this one's still my favorite. But of course, as it definitely should be, my number 1 on my top 10 CM Punk moments is the pipe bomb. And of course, I'll go through it one more time. I'm going to list all my top 10s again. As I'm doing that, you guys in the live chat may leave some of your comments as well of your top 10 CM Punk moments that I may have missed out on. Number 10, again, was his field sobriety test in 2012. Number 9 was his podcast explaining why he left in 2014. Number 8 is his sermon promo in the 2010 Royal Rumble. Number 7 is his heel turn on The Rock at Raw 1000. Number 6 is his feud with The Undertaker in 2013. Number 5 is his feud with Jeff Hardy in 2009. Number 4 is his Go Home Show promo with Triple H before Night of Champions in 2011. Number 3 was his contract signing before Money in the Bank in 2011. Number 2 was his match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2013. And number 1, the pipe bomb. That is my list of my top 10 CM Punk moments. Let's go to the live chat for the last few minutes and see what we got in the live chat. Let me see there. Let's see here. Maybe we're right here. Ricochet versus Styles would be an awesome match. And yes, everyone says Happy Lauren Day. Lauren is the best. Lauren number 1. But yeah, I can't believe he did. I can't believe I didn't know he did Kelly and Maria. Chicago fans still can't get over Punk. I'm sorry, but it can get annoying sometimes, to be honest. I definitely agree. You know, the CM Punk chance again, you know, guys, he's not coming back. You know, just stop. Okay, because it's another like, you know, it's another thing that people cut during, you know, like matches that people know are going to be bad. Of course, there's some matches, you know, that even though there's going to be like people again, you know, Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley again was not that bad. I mean, it was not great, but I still thought it was a good for what it was match to sit through at Extreme Rules. People are already not getting a chance. Like, you know, this is not Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal. This is Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley. Two guys I feel, you know, if given the right material, could tear up the house and put on a good match. Again, the match was still, you know, good. Wasn't great, but I still thought it was enjoyable. But again, it's one of those chances where people like, you know, that, or, you know, how the fact that whenever the referee is counting the 10, everybody does the 10, just says 10 because of, you know, the 10 chance. It's probably why they're not pushing Ty Dillinger either, because of that. But I agree, definitely the CM Punk chants are definitely getting annoying. I'll take part in them when I go to a live event. Punk's tag title wins with Kofi are also my top 3. Punk was the tag team champions with Kofi. I did not know that. Nice shirt, thank you. I have the perfect cash in for Braun Strowman. Say Lesnar retains at SummerSlam. WWE is working with UFC. Have Braun show up when Brock loses and have his music hit, and Cormier is being interviewed. That'd be nice, honestly, if they would go out of their way to do that. But in the Octagon, but I don't know if they would go with that. I love when Punk accidentally dropped the urn and said, "Oh shit." Yeah, I was talking about that earlier also. Kofi and Punk are best friends outside WWE, as is Punk and Colt Cabana. Yeah, I knew because, you know, Punk did talk about Kofi a couple times in this podcast. I thought I heard a rumor, though, that Punk and Cabana had faded off those friends. I think Cabana was there with Punk's recent trial before his match at UFC, whichever number it was this time. But but yeah, I didn't know that Punk and Kofi were friends. Of course, he's talking about how, like, you know, he got rocked when Kofi did that clothesline and came in at the 2014 Royal Rumble. But he says, "So Kofi, if you're listening, it's okay. I love you. You're cool." I knew that. John Cena, me too. You know that wasn't scripted. Yeah, I know that. John Cena, while you lay there. Punk was so undervalued. Exactly. Punk's pipe bomb on Raw is going to be number 2. It's also definitely in my top 10. And also his feud with Randy in 2010 was awesome too. Also in her top 10. That wasn't too bad also, but I feel like there's some more feuds I enjoyed a little bit more than that, but that wasn't a bad feud either. To Cena, I don't hate you. I don't like the fact that you're the best, because I'm the best. I've been the best since day one when I stepped foot into this place. Punk replacing Barrett and X as the leader was unexpected as well. It's also in her top 10. That's a good choice as well. Randy feud with Punk. I don't remember that. Yeah, in 2011, it was they had a match at WrestleMania 27 in summer and Extreme Rules. I remember. Punk was definitely one of the best workers that WWE ever had, was great in the ring and on the mic. Definitely one of the best on the mic, definitely. Do you think Jeff will win the WWE title one more time and get a decent reign with it? He possibly could. Was one of my favorites, but towards the end of 2013, I really didn't like his character anymore, to be honest. He had no good storylines. That is true, because, you know, they just put him in a bunch of pointless feuds. Again, like he was feuding with Curtis Axel and Ryback to continue the Paul Heyman feud. Again, as he mentioned, you know, how does you go from Brock to Ryback? I guess that's why I pitched the idea of him having a Hell in a Cell match. Could have gotten him back in the championship picture, but that's what he did. That he feuded with Daniel Bryan against the Wyatts, then he feuded with the Shield, and then he was going to feud with Kane and Triple H. He's just going around in circles at that point. Again, good thing he got out there. And also because of that staph infection. Literally, the guy could have died. Jeff will win eventually, she believes. Hope he does. He should get another reign. CM Punk chants are only used in bad matches or wherever Stephanie comes out. Oh, man. And I still don't like also how some, you know, like, you know, they'll come out and they still, you know, will not like directly, will still somewhat, you know, make fun of Punk also. I feel like that's right. Like, I'm sorry. I was mad. I was so mad the first Raw in Chicago where they played Punk's music, but they brought out Paul Heyman. Like, if you're really having that much real life controversy behind with him, like, why would you go out of your way and play his music like that? Just have somebody else come out to it. I thought that was kind of cold. I was not a fan of that all like if you want to just like not like argue each other back and forth, then just keep your mouth shut about it and just move on. Don't just attack him. Just like they made the 2 minutes and 14 reference after his first UFC match and whatnot, and how you're gonna quit just like CM Punk quit or something like that. It's just like, guys, don't like fight fire with fire. Don't burn a bridge and whatnot. Like, we know there's tension between you guys, but man, yeah, I did not like that at all. Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley was a good match, and the crowd shit on it because of Roman. It was a good match. It was shit on though. Yeah, exactly. I thought Punk looked better with his long dark hair and his short hair. Fair enough. Punk being part of the Straight Society will be in the top 10 as well as him winning both back-to-back Money in the Bank matches. Definitely in there as well. And again, as I say, the Straight Society was definitely underutilized. Cabana and Punk aren't friends no more. Punk is talking to WWE superstars more, which is a sign. Maybe. Punk weighs a lot less. They probably win the Cruiserweight division when he comes back. Punk winning the ECW title has to be in the top 10 as well. I forgot about that. What happened between him and Cabana, I cannot remember as well. Robbie's line of, you're as good at kissing Vince's ass as Hulk Hogan was. Or was I've been the best since day one when I stepped foot into this company. My bad. That's all right. I don't know if you're as good as Dwayne. He's a pretty good ass kisser. Your buddy Dwayne. I knew it was a mistake for Punk to go to UFC. He's getting his ass kicked. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to have another match in UFC. Hey, Cole Cabana, how you doing? Yes, he mentioned that in the pipe bomb as well. CM Punk ice cream bars, I'll take some. Yes, Robbie, that was awesome. You're a pretty good ass kisser. You're as good as Hulk Hogan. They just don't talk now, Lauren, from what I've heard. What if Jeff Hardy joined the Straight Edge Society? That would be interesting. Who remembers Punk's eerie redemption? Of happy birthday to you. When a Punk feud with Mysterio in 2010, sung it to Mysterio's daughter, Aaliyah. Yeah, I remember that. That's also an honorable mention, I'd say, as well. Punk singing happy birthday to Rey Mysterio's daughter, Aaliyah. But yeah, we got some pretty good stuff. Y'all keep the live chat open for another minute or two. Thanks again, though, to I think it was Lauren or Dakota, wanted to, whoever suggested the idea of the top 10 CM Punk moments. I went with this idea since July 17th was 2 days ago, and July 17th was the day Punk's contract came to an end in 2011. So I thought, what? Why not do the top 10 CM Punk moments? But I'm not sure what I'll do next week, but most of my August ones will have to do with SummerSlam also for my top 10 specials. But yeah, I'm glad I got to get the stream in. That was, I felt a little bit burned out when I got home today for my little trip. I miss Punk. If I meet him, I'm going to kidnap him and take him to WWE headquarters to have him and Vince talk it out. I don't know about that. That would work. Would you say, Mike, the Punk Mysterio feud is underrated? It wasn't bad. I felt it could have been a little bit better, though. So maybe not quite, but somewhat. Keith Lee is making his NXT debut in a few weeks also. Dakota says, cool, I look forward to see what he brings to the table. I'll give everybody just another minute or two they'll leave their thoughts in the live chat again. But guys, as always, thank again for staying tuned for my top 10 streams as well. Again, I wasn't sure I was going to do one tonight because I didn't feel like I was prepared, but I felt like I prepared myself pretty well with this CM Punk stream. Again, I'll go over the list again one more time so we talked a little bit about other stuff, but my list for top 10 Punk moments: number 10, the field sobriety test 2012. Number 9 is his podcast explaining why he left in 2014. Number 8 is his promo in the 2010 Royal Rumble, which was a sermon. Pledge to Straight Edge. Number 7 is his heel turn on The Rock at Raw 1000. Number 6 is his feud with The Undertaker in 2013. Number 5 was his feud with Jeff Hardy in 2009. Number 4 is his Go Home Show promo with Triple H in 2011 before Night of Champions. him being a champion ass kisser. That was about Kevin Nash. I'm sorry. Number 3 was his contract signed for Money in the Bank in 2011. Number 2 was his match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2013. Number 1 was, of course, the pipe bomb. Nothing better, I feel, for CM Punk, in my honest opinion, than when he cut that pipe bomb. Live chat one more time just to see what's going on here. Did you hear about that female Japanese star that they just signed? She's pretty good. In the Mae Young Classic, is like Kairi Sane. Sweet. Look forward to see what she brings to the table. Keith Lee was 330 pounds, Blank, and he can do a standing moonsault on his opponent. That is impressive as we all get. That'd be awesome. Lauren said, hey, I'm going to go to bed. That's fine, Lauren. I'm about to sign out anyways. Thank you for joining in. Love you too as well. Thank you for joining me. And I think also I'll get my plug in for Robbie really quick here. As always, again, my good friend Robbie One Kenobi is awesome here on YouTube. Leaving his here and there whenever he has the time, which I do hope he has the time soon again for another one of his fantasy booking videos. He has great ideas. He's destined to be a writer for WWE. Again, he has great ideas. Please watch his channel to see the fantasy booking ideas he comes up with, as he is a freaking genius. That's why we all like him. And if you like what you see for Robbie, please get this trending on Twitter. # please sign Robbie. So that way Robbie can get into WWE and write for them and make this show. He will make the show great again. Make it so great. Vince will be loving it. It'll be the greatest show on earth. My Trump impersonation. Anyways, without getting into politics, let's just sign out here, guys. Again, thank you to Robbie, Lauren, and the Cub for joining me in this special live stream, my top 10 CM Punk moments. What are some of your favorite moments for CM Punk as well? Your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, sure to click my like and subscribe more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at TheManAirboy93. Again, next couple weeks, I'm still kind of doing some little odds and ends here and there with my sister being home. So if some of my streams come late, I do apologize. I know Monday's stream may be later because we might be doing something that day. But, of course, I'll keep you guys up to date on what's going on there. And I also assume there are other odds and ends come to my channel as well. And until then, guys, I am signing out. Until then, have a great rest of your night. And peace out, everybody.